Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
All right, guys, we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today, and if you want to call and ask questions, you can't. Blog Talk is down. We got rid of Blog Talk. I told you last time. It's done. It's done. We'll try to look for some other routes where you guys can call in, but for right now, it's a two-man show. So, all right, let's get started with it. DAZN, the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Listen, I don't care what they say. This is undisputed. The belt was taken away, stripped. This is undisputed. You cannot call Daniel Dubois the champion right now. You just can't. It just is. You could say, I'll tell you what you can say about Dubois. He may be the uncrowned champion, right? Remember that sixth round? Was the sixth round that body shot?
Yeah.
It was that body shot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was wasn't low. That was a knockout.
I think
it was a knockout. So we could say that Daniel Dubois is the uncrowned champion, but we can't say he's undisputed. Only one guy gets that claim. Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk. We waited. This is the second fight. That first fight was fight of the year, Beeb. No question. I still think it holds up. I still think it holds up. And you got to think about it in terms like this. For all the hype it generated, okay, it lived up to it because it was about 1 point. 1 point. You can't argue that. You know what I mean? A fight of that magnitude typically never lives. Oscar De La Hoya and Trinidad. Nah. Hearns and Leonard lived up to it, I thought. Hagler Leonard didn't really live up to it.
Ray Leonard fought great though, didn't he?
Nah, not really. I thought he lost the fight pretty handily.
I love triggering you.
I thought he lost that fight pretty handily. I'm just saying.
I love it.
And I bet 90% of the chat feels the same way. But look, what my point is, very few times does it live up to the hype, does it live up to the expectation, and that first fight did. Now we have the second fight. All right? Second fight. Oleksandr Usyk retains his titles by unanimous decision. No trickery here. No second guessing. 116, 112 by all three judges. Beeb, all three said that. You had it 116, 112. My son had it 116, 112. I think Montero had it 116, 112.
Yeah.
I had it 117, 111.
Okay.
I mean, to me, it was cut and dry. We're watching it. Right. Tanny says robbery. That's right. That's right. No robbery here, man. Let's be honest here.
No.
We're going to break down this fight here in just a second here. But, I told you on Friday when I saw him on the scale, when he weighed in, Usyk weighed in 3 pounds heavier at 226. Tyson Fury weighed almost, 20 pounds heavier?
Yeah, 19.
19 pounds heavier than the last time he fought. It was at 260. And I thought at 260, he looked good. I thought he looked great at 260.
260.
The last weigh-in, took his shirt off. He was on there. He had, he looked good. He looked slightly, he looked good. He looked fit. It's fit for Tyson Fury. He looked fit.
Yeah.
He's never been a body beautiful, but let's give him credit, man, because he looked good there. 260 was a great weight for him. What was his weight? Does anybody know his weight on the whatchamacallit? The UFC guy. Who was the UFC guy he fought?
Francis Ngannou. He was 277 for that.
He was 277 for that, and he looked like garbage in that fight.
And he looked significantly heavier. I won't be honest with you. My brother said this too. He looked like he was like 300 pounds in there. When he took his shirt off, Eric, when he took his shirt off, I said to myself, Robbie was right about you. You know, if he's too heavy for this fight, I already got like bad feelings about it when he took his shirt off.
I told you at that weigh-in, I said he's heavy.
Yeah.
And you said, well, he's got about X amount of clothes on and everything like that. I get it.
Guess what, Eric? He looked every bit of what you were.
Yeah.
You and Robbie were right. You were right. And maybe I was just wishfully thinking, like,
JC said, Beef said he wasn't 280. He wasn't. I'll be honest. He wasn't 280. He was about 275. I think he had about 6-7 pounds of clothes on. He was around 275, somewhere in there. Way too heavy. And nobody really got a look at him until I got my first look at him in the dressing room when he had his trunks on, pulled way up, like right underneath his chest. I've never seen trunks that high. It reminded me of the first Lewis Holyfield fight where Lewis had his trunks way up. I mean, they were high. And I'll tell you what, man, he looked out of shape. He just did not look good. And throughout this whole thing, he said, he hasn't seen his wife in 3 months or his kids in 3 months. What, were you partying for 3 months? Because you weren't in the gym.
Well,
you weren't training for 3 months. I know you didn't hire a nutrition. Don't tell me you hired a nutritionist for this fight.
One thing
if you did, he should be horsewhipped. Okay.
Well, one thing he definitely saw was the buffet table. and
Yorkshire pudding.
He looked like sausages. He looked like he weighed like 300 pounds, man. He looked, I'm just going to be honest, he looked the fattest I've ever seen him.
Yeah. And he looked bad in the Ngannou fight.
And that was all in his stomach. Like his waist size was like equator. Was it?
His
it
waist
wasn't
size
a number.
was like New Jersey.
His waist
was like New
New
Jersey.
This is like an equator. Okay.
My God.
And that's not, again, we know this isn't a bodybuilding contest. Tyson Fury is never going to be a body beautiful. But here's the thing, guys.
It was an aerial photo at the
He was morbidly obese. That's not healthy. Even if he's an athlete and he's morbidly obese, bro.
Yeah. And yeah, that's okay. So King KO brought up another great point. And both you and I had thought about this, and a lot of people had thought about this. Yep. What happened to Fury's seek and destroy mission? Fury was on the back foot most of the night. Let me tell you this. The rounds that I gave Fury, he was coming forward.
Yeah.
When he came forward, he had it all his own way.
Mm-hmm.
He had the fight won. Why did he not go forward? And my question, my thing is, he was out of shape. You got to be in shape to keep that pressure on. To Sean Porter, somebody, you got to be in shape.
He did look ponderous. He looked slower.
Yeah.
The punches did not have the same snap on him.
No.
He did some of the things I said he would do, like he was posting with the lead hand. But most of the time when he was posting with the lead hand, obviously I said he would do that to try to disrupt the rhythm of Usyk, right?
Right.
But after he would disrupt the rhythm, and to a certain degree, he couldn't follow up with anything. And when he did come forward, Usyk was holding his feet, and he was getting some good stuff off too. And it reminds me of remember back in the day when people used to talk about Floyd Mayweather. Oh, the way to beat Floyd Mayweather is you got to double and triple up the jab. You got to try to break his rhythm. You got to try to disrupt his timing. You got to apply a lot of pressure, bring a lot of volume, and you got to not allow him to react. You throw so many punches at him that he can't react and counter you. Yeah, that was all easier said than done. But the problem was Floyd would always be able to land that picture perfect right hand. He would land it with such precision, land it so cleanly, and he may not have had one punch knockout power, but he got people's respect with that counter right hand because it made them think twice about continuously trying to come forward. And that is the same thing with Usyk's left hand. And I'll just break something down that I really observed closely last night that I didn't always notice in other Usyk fights. One thing he does very well, right, is he camouflages that backhand. When you watch how he kind of puts his shoulder in front of that backhand, and you can't see that backhand. So it's like you can't time it because you don't see when it's coming at you.
Right.
Right. And it's hard to time that left hand. And when he does land that left hand, he lands that punch with such precision, lands it so like when Floyd used to thread the needle with that right hand, he threads the needle with that left hand. So you could say, oh yeah, Fury needed to come forward more, he needed to apply more pressure, but that left hand makes fighters think twice. It made Joshua think twice because he couldn't sustain that offense, right? Fury could do
Josh
it in
was a
spots.
big guy.
Yeah,
He's
all
a
these
big
big
guy.
guys. Dubois couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
I would beg to differ. Dubois
he
did it.
He did it.
Dubois knocked him out.
I
Dubois knocked him out.
But
did he knock him out?
I think he knocked him out.
I
But
think he's the uncrowned champ.
But when he's in there with bigger guys and they come forward on him, he gets their respect because he has enough power in that left hand. Because as I said, because he throws it with he has that element of surprise when he throws it. That's number one. Number two, he lands it with such precision, such accuracy, so cleanly that he can stun guys with it, and it makes guys think twice. You could never just, like, guys back in the day could never just walk Floyd down. No one ever walked Floyd down, even though he was a small. No one can,
and not to mention he throws shots. He puts shots in.
Yeah, so no one can actually walk Usyk down either because he held his feet a little bit in this fight, and every time Fury would get that momentum shift, Usyk would take it right away from him. Right. So, and again, going back to what Fury was doing, posting with the jab, a lot of what he was doing was trying to break the rhythm, but he didn't do much else after breaking the rhythm. He couldn't get into a groove. And a lot of that, I believe, he looked a little flat. He looked a little slower. He didn't have the snap. And as you said, the weight, I tried to make light of the weight, but, I have to go by what I see. He looked ponderous. He started getting a little tired in rounds 11 and 12, when Usyk kicked it up a notch. I thought Fury had a good round 9 and good round 10, but then he started to fade a little bit in rounds 10 and 11, and that was right at the time when Usyk just kicked it up. Usyk has a way of just taking that momentum away from you. He knows how to control that pace. He's a special fighter. That's all I can say.
Good, man. He's
a special fighter.
IQ, man. Yeah. Hamed said 8-4, 9-3. Usyk was probably accurate. That's, like I said, that's how we all had it. I had 9-3. You had 8-4.
Yeah. I had it 8-4.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
and Eric, another thing Usyk did, not to cut you off, but
no.
He threw significantly more body punches in this fight than he did in the first fight. And he threw significantly more body punches than Fury did. So in those quiet rounds, right, when Fury's, coming forward with the high guard or whatever, and Usyk is just throwing some, like, those non-consequential jabs to the stomach, those are scoring blows.
Yeah.
I mean, this notion that Fury did better in this fight just because he didn't get hurt like he did in the first fight, I thought he did worse in this fight. I gave Fury like 6 rounds in the first fight. I think you gave him 5. In this fight, I only gave him 4. In this fight, you only gave him 3.
That's it.
First fight was a split decision loss. This was a clear unanimous decision, 8-4. All right. So I don't think Fury did better this time. I think Usyk probably fought just as good. Maybe you could say he held his feet a little bit more in this fight and was throwing more combinations, right?
Clearly worse. Yeah.
No, I agree with you, wheelchair champion.
Sure.
But there's a lot of people out there that's claiming he did better in this fight than he did in the first.
Yeah.
Which
I don't understand.
Which I don't agree with.
No.
Which I don't agree. I don't think he did better in this fight.
No, I thought he looked
I'm just telling you what the narrative is out there.
Yeah. And I tell you, and like I said, if he could have gone for, that's what we thought. We thought he was going to come in. He might come in. He's going to come in heavier. I think we all knew he might come in a little bit heavier, not 20 pounds.
Yeah, that's too much.
I mean, I don't know. What was your game plan? Honestly, like, what was your game plan here? Because it didn't look like he had one. He looked, and the announcers even said it, he looked confused at times in there. He was waiting. He was waiting for the shots. Hey, listen, I don't know if he got old overnight. I don't know. But I know that he was waiting on shots. He couldn't pull that trigger at times. And it was just because either he knew what was coming back or Usyk wasn't going to be there. And that's it, man. 20 pounds. Yeah, you're right. MLO 860, 20 pounds. That's right.
He knew I may get a 1-2 win, but this guy's coming back at me with 3s and 4s.
Look, man, you've seen it at the weigh-in. like I said, man, everything I saw I needed to see was at the weigh-in. When he had his jacket on, Usyk we didn't care about because we knew he was in shape. You knew he was. We've seen him train. You knew he was in shape. But Fury, when he had all that garb on at the weigh-in, his coat, everything like that, there was
he was hiding something.
You know what he looked? He looked like Ruiz is what he looked like. Andy Ruiz. Remember that when he came in, when he had all that stuff on at the weigh-in because he didn't want to take his clothes off and show himself.
He had that 10-pound sombrero on his head too.
With the weights and everything like that in it, you know. But yeah, man, he got in there, man, and it was like Don Chile, that's perfect. By the way, Don Chile, I am a functional 320. How about that? Saying. I'm svelte, right? I mean, come on. Hello.
That's right.
Don Chile said the game plan was to make it to the 12th and get a pizza afterwards. I mean, that's what it looked like. And the AI judge had Usyk winning the fight, winning 8-2 with 2 draws, 8-2-2 with 2 draws. I mean, a lot of people were just saying, like, you know, that Fury won, he got robbed. I know Frank Warren, and look, man, Frank Warren kind of, I get it.
They're biased.
I get it. I totally get it. You know, and he was like, well, I was sitting next to Oscar De La Hoya. Well, there's the virtue of truth right there. You know, I mean, he's going to tell you.
It's called groupthink, Frank.
Right. You know, Tony says, come on, let's stop body shaming the big fella. You know what, though? Andy Ruiz. You got
to body. I'm just going to, I'm going to put it out there. You got to body shame people that are morbidly obese for their own good. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. You don't want people going around taking strokes, dying at 56, 60 years old.
I know, right?
We are going to shame people. We are going to shame people.
Yeah.
When I was 300 pounds, I was shamed, and I thank everyone that called me a fat fuck.
When you were what?
When I was 280, pushing close to 300 when I was a kid.
Were you really that heavy?
Yeah, I was up to close to like 275, 280 as a kid. Yeah, I was a fat bastard.
Wow.
Yeah, I was heavy when I was a kid.
That is wow.
And I'm glad people made fun of me.
Heavy. I can't see you that heavy.
A lot of people say that, but I can show you pictures.
I saw the one picture when you were a kid. You didn't look that heavy.
No, I can show you a picture when I had my baseball uniform on. I was like, oh, I looked like a slob.
You look like a slob.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I had a 44-inch waist at one time.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, but it was just, watching him, and again, I don't understand why he didn't come forward. I don't even know what the game plan was. And they talked to Sugar Hill before the fight, and he was real coy with it. I mean, like, almost like he was, I don't know. I know he was involved in the camp, but, and I don't think John Fury was in the camp, or John Fury, they wanted to cut him out of the camp because he said it was real chaotic listening to everybody. But I tell you, man, it was just, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good, wasn't a good look for him. And I knew he was going to be slow. And even that jab he was throwing was just kind of a slap kind of thing. There was nothing coming behind. Just
basically, I'm throwing this out here to try to stop, just try to break your rhythm, but I'm not throwing it in an offensive manner. I'm throwing this more as an offset punch, a defensive punch, more so than an offensive punch. Nothing is flowing off this jab. I'm just trying to break your rhythm. I'm trying to stop you from doing what you're doing, but I'm not doing anything behind that jab, or not enough consistently. He had some moments, but they were far few in between. Yeah. Usyk was controlling larger portions of these rounds. And even in the first 3 rounds when they were quiet, Usyk was the one who was touching him. Fury was not making contact.
Well, I said he was outworking him. He was outworking him. And while Tyson was throwing one jab at a time, or a 1-2 maybe a 1-2.
Yeah.
Usyk's throwing combinations.
Putting them together.
5-shot combinations.
Putting them together.
It just was, man. That's correct. You're right. His feet weren't moving. That's right. It was just a push, just a push jab. That's all it was,
I'm going to say something extremely controversial. I think Usyk has, outside of Muhammad Ali, I would argue Usyk has the best footwork I've ever seen from a heavyweight. Outside of Muhammad Ali, he's got incredible footwork.
He really does. And we were watching it last night, and when I said watch, I told my son, I said, watch the angles that Usyk gives him. When he's in close, he's going to step this way. He's going to create an angle so that punch goes a different way. And sure enough, man, I mean, he angled.
Have you ever
his
seen this guy off
all
balance?
night.
Have you ever seen this guy out over his front foot? Like he never looks off balance. He's always in control of his body.
Well, and what's you think about him too, right? He's in there with these heavy weights. I mean, 260, 270, the big guys. Dubois is a big guy. Joshua's a big guy, and he's handling the punches, Any punch can get rid of you at the heavyweight division. Anybody over 200 pounds can hurt you.
Of course.
But, he's been able to stay in there. You're not going to be able to stay in there. He's got to have, I know he has a chin. I know he has somewhat of a chin. But, the fact that he doesn't get hit, his defense is on point. His footwork is on point. All that relates to defense, And these guys, man, again, in wheelchair, wheelchairman John, he can't deal with the speed of Usyk. I don't even think it was the speed of Usyk. I think you're right. When you talk about that footwork, I think it might have been the footwork of Usyk that you can't deal with. That has a lot of people confused. Because the same way with Floyd, it was Floyd's footwork that people had problems with. His speed, obviously, but his foot speed. Because the foot speed got him out of range, got him in range, got him out of trouble. He was just a perfect boxer. He just was. And the same thing with Usyk. He's by far, probably, boxing-wise, is he the best heavyweight boxer you've seen?
I
mean, you could argue it.
He could compete in any era. He could compete in any era.
Yeah. And I mean, you could argue it because he's so textbook.
Yeah.
With his style. Like I said, Ricardo Lopez is the best fighter I've ever seen. He's the best boxer I've ever seen.
Yeah.
If I was going to make a boxer, I would make him right after Ricardo Lopez, Finito Lopez.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You can make, it's hard to argue that guy wasn't a great fighter, Ricardo Lopez. He was just, that's another technician, another
technician, man,
another precision guy.
And that's what we see, and he was fighting in the lighter weights where there wasn't that many knockouts at the time. And now you got Usyk fighting at heavyweights where you're going to, I mean, listen, if you get knocked out at heavyweight, it's not really a mark against you, man, because they got some big hitters up there.
And then someone said to me today on Twitter, well, Usyk really isn't a small heavyweight. I mean, he's 6'3", 225. And I'm like, bro.
Sean Porter has a win over Usyk.
Yeah.
Sean Porter. Yeah.
Every fighter that Usyk has fought at heavyweight has been bigger than him. So by today's standards, Usyk is not a big heavyweight. He's just not. He's given up 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. And here's another thing too. Even at 262, Fury still has like a 40-pound weight advantage over this guy. Like how much more weight do you have to have over this guy in order for you to feel that you have an advantage? You already have a 40-pound weight advantage when you come in at the weight you're supposed to come in at. Why do you need to come in even heavier than that? Yeah. So I don't get it. Robbie was dead on, man. He said that he's like, you know what? I'm concerned about the weight. If he comes in,
that.
You tried to steal it. You tried to steal it from Robbie.
I told you.
You're always trying to take Robbie's.
I texted you when that weigh-in happened.
You're always trying to take Robbie's talking points. I hate it. I hate it when you do that. The guy comes on every week. You bully him. You treat him horribly. When he comes on, I treat him with the utmost respect. I respect the guy who's been in the game for 40 years. The guy's a smart guy. You try to diminish everything this guy says. I'm not going to allow it anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to give you pushback every time you try to bully this kid. Give this guy the credit he deserves.
Oh my God. King KO says Ali was more unorthodox than Usyk with the footwork. You couldn't teach that style to a novice. He's 100% right. Ali was a different breed, man. Ali was like a Roy Jones of his era. Roy Jones does stuff that you can't teach.
Yeah.
He doesn't, he can fight like textbook fighter. Yeah. But Roy Jones does crazy stuff that you can't teach, man. It's like Michael Jordan can't teach basketball because he's, he does so much stuff out of the box that it's like, come on. Usyk would KO Michael Spinks. Yeah, I think Usyk would KO Michael Spinks. Clarissa had Fury winning the fight. Hey Clarissa, what was your scorecard? What was your scorecard? How'd you have it scored? What's the matter with you? Why are you gonna call people over on the scorecards? What is this? Well, no, she said she had him winning. I was just curious.
What are you grading test papers over there?
Saying.
Please.
Fight Doctor says Holmes was better. Yeah, Holmes was a better. I think Holmes would have. I can't say Holmes would have beat him because, again, two different eras. And again, you get better as eras go on. Usyk beats Holmes, but I think Holmes might have been a better boxer. I don't know.
Again, these are all fantasy matchups. We can go back and forth on them all day.
Yeah.
I mean,
But again, I mean, for fun and everything like that, we would say Ali beat Fury. That doesn't happen. I mean, it just doesn't. I mean, Fury's too big, too strong, too fill in the blank, too skilled, fill in the blank, So, yeah, man. So, listen, my prediction was if Usyk wins, both fighters retire. All right. It didn't sound like that yesterday because after the fight, Daniel Dubois, my personal friend, Daniel Dubois, the guy I admire, by the way. I admire.
You're a fair-weathered friend.
The uncrowned champion, Daniel Dubois, I might add. Yeah. Sometimes you got to give people tough love, Beeb. And that's what I did. All right. And now look at him. Top of the mountain. Undisputed. I could say he's the uncrowned, undisputed champion right now.
There's a difference between tough love
and
defaming somebody. You defamed.
You would know that better than anybody.
You took his character, you crinkled it up like a piece of wet newspaper, and you threw it in the trash. You threw it in the trash.
How dare you? How dare you? You are gross. All right. I think Usyk may fight again. And I'm surprised. I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised.
So yeah.
I think he fights one more.
I think he'll fight the winner of Joseph Parker versus Daniel Dubois, which I think it's not a given that Daniel Dubois wins that fight. Joseph Parker's style is a tough style matchup for Dubois.
It's a tough style matchup.
It's a difficult fight. I'm actually really intrigued by that fight.
I am too. That's a good
very
fight.
Intrigued by that fight.
Dubois could be one of those guys that gets the title and becomes better. You know what I mean?
Good.
Sometimes you can.
I'm not giving up on Dubois. I'm not saying that it's a given for Parker either.
Dubois.
Yeah.
Why would you give up on Dubois?
Well, I'm not going to do what you
matter with you.
Guy's eyeball was hanging out. You wanted him to pick it up off the canvas and put it back in and continue fighting.
I gave him some tough love. That's what you got to remember. You know what I'm saying? That's right, guys. Tavern, thank you so much, brother. Hit the like button, guys. If you like what we're doing, even if you don't like what we're doing, just hit the like button. It helps us out. Like and subscribe. Let me tell you what, and you can tell them more so than this, but more so than I can. But like and subscribe helps us out so much. When you subscribe to the channel, when you like our videos, it helps us out.
Helps the algorithm. It really does.
It really does. It really does. So, absolutely.
Hey, everybody in the chat, hit the
Make sure you guys hit the like button.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's going to fight Dubois next, or the winner of Parker Dubois. Yeah. But Tyson Fury, I get the feeling that it's not over.
He's going to probably fight
think it
Joshua.
Should be over.
Yeah, it should be over. I think Joshua Fury will be. Is that
a big fight in England right now?
They say it is. I'll watch it, of course. I watch everything. But I'm not crazy about that fight. Like, it lost a lot of luster.
It lost a lot of luster. It'd be like having Deontay Wilder and Joshua in there now.
It's like, are we battling for the silver medal? Because this is not the gold anymore, right? We're battling for the silver medal. We're battling to see who the best fighter is in England, right?
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, because then Dubois beat Joshua, so like I was surprised that
if Joshua lost a close decision to Dubois, it would be one thing. But the way Joshua lost by getting knocked out and the way Fury lost this fight, like if both guys lost in close competitive fights, like I don't think this fight was particularly close. A lot of people think it's close. I don't think this fight was really close. The first fight,
no.
Yeah, I don't think this fight was really close. I think the first fight was closer. I don't think this fight was close. And Joshua, the way he lost in emphatic fashion, that the way these two guys lost in their last two performances, right? I think it hurt that fight for me. Definitely for me. I can't speak for everyone else. Yeah. Definitely hurt that fight. It brought both guys down a notch, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm less interested in this fight between Fury and Joshua, more so now than ever.
Yeah, I think so too. Robert's on the line. Robert, come on in here.
Hello, guys. How are
Robbie,
you?
you nailed it,
Good.
Robbie. You nailed this one.
I nailed it. What's the matter
Yeah.
with you? What did you
Eric
have
was-
it scored, Robert? What did you have it scored?
I could have copied my scorecard from the first fight because the second fight I had it scored the same way, 115, 113 for Usyk.
Okay. So you had it a little bit closer.
Yeah.
I tell you, you thought that Usyk won. What were your thoughts at the weigh-in?
Well, I told you last week because of interviews I'd heard from Fury. He said, "Well, I plan on gaining a lot more weight because you need more weight to compete against this guy." And I thought that was completely wrong. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, "Oh God, if he comes in, say 275, 280, it's going to be no contest. Usyk's going to be able to run around the ring and do whatever the hell he wants and have an easier time of it." And basically, even though I scored it the same way both times, the second fight was a lot easier for Usyk than the first fight was because Fury came in so out of shape. I'll give you a funny quote. As soon as Tyson Fury took his shirt off yesterday, when they were in the ring, my mom turned around, looked at the TV, and she said, "What? They're going to let that fat guy fight at that weight?" I said, "Yeah, there's no."
Mrs. Herrick! Mrs. Herrick!
Oh,
There's
wow.
I said, "There's no limit in the heavyweight division. You can come in as heavy as you want." And she said, "Well, he's going to get the crap beat out of him." Well, he didn't necessarily get the crap beat out of him.
Mrs. Herrick thought he was going to go into cardiac arrest in there. He was so heavy.
Yeah, exactly. So, you've got to consider Oleksandr Usyk now one of the all-time greats. How many fighters have basically cleaned out two different divisions and is still at the top of his game? And we're talking about Fury being old at 36. Well, Oleksandr Usyk's going to be 38 next month. He's older than Fury, and he looks like he can continue fighting as long as he wants. He looks like he's got a fork in him. He should be done.
You know what I think? I think those body shots took it out of Fury. And I noticed this early. It was the first 3 rounds. And I was talking to Antonio and I said, "Look, man," I said, he's landed a lot of body shots right now. And I said, that's going to pay. I said, with him being as heavy as he is, whatever he's planning on doing may get turned, he may have to go to plan B because he's taking a lot of flush body shots here, man. And that left hand of the body was there all night. You know what I mean?
Yep. And yet, Oleksandr Usyk's one of his biggest weaknesses, everybody says, hit him in the body because that's what Daniel Dubois did. That's how he knocked him out. And by the way, that was a legitimate knockout. That referee totally screwed that up.
That's right. Tell him, Robert. He's the uncrowned champion. I want you to say it.
Well, I don't know if he's the uncrowned champion, but he does deserve a second.
Did he knocked him out, right? He was out for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And he's the uncrowned champion, right?
Yep.
Usyk's a champion. He got beat by Dubois, so that means Dubois is a champion, right?
That's right.
All right, there you go.
But Daniel Dubois does deserve a rematch because of that controversy, and I do think that would be the next fight. But I don't think Daniel Dubois is going to be able to get by Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker is no lightweight. He's a former champion for a reason. So Daniel Dubois better have his focus.
Talking about Daniel Dubois, son.
Daniel Dubois better have his focus on Joseph Parker instead of Oleksandr Usyk. So,
King KO says Usyk should retire. He has nothing left to prove. I'll say it again, man. I was shocked that he didn't retire. I really was. I was shocked that he didn't retire. But that being said here, I don't know that you can really go into this fight saying if I win or lose, it's the last fight. I don't think you can.
You know what Alice Khrushchev said yesterday, his promoter? He said it would be nice to say, "Oh, I became undisputed twice."
Yeah. Okay.
That's another feather they could put in the cap.
Has anybody become? Well, yeah. There's been more undisputed heavyweight champions. Yeah, there has been. In the 4-belt era.
In the 4-belt era, he could be undisputed in the same weight class twice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that would be. another milestone that he could put it in the old achievement box, I guess, right?
And he's also been talking about going back to cruiserweight and doing that all over again
I don't
too.
think he'll do that though.
Nah, it's never the same when you lose weight.
Yeah,
when you go up in weight and then you try to come down, it's never the same.
Yeah,
I know that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think he should fight one more time and then just call it a day.
If he beats the winner of Parker Usyk or Parker and Dubois,
just call
what
it.
Else? What else is there?
Robbie, are you picking Parker in that fight versus Dubois, or who do you got in that one?
Right now, I'm leaning towards Joseph Parker.
I'm actually leaning towards Parker too, and I love Dubois. He's like one of my favorite fighters.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Don't even try to. No, don't try to kiss up to him now. You don't love
Eric,
Dubois. What's the matter with
Eric?
you?
I know the fight's 2 months away, but who's your early selection in that fight?
Dubois, son, the uncrowned champ, son. Did you see the way he handled Usyk? Did you see the way he handled Joshua? You kidding me? These guys are trained. The Dubois trained. The Dubois Express is coming through. It's over.
Dubois is like 27 years old. He could still get better, man.
Yeah, he looks like he has improved. He really does. He looks like he has improved.
He's more confident now too. He believes in himself.
Yeah, but I tell you what, you know what Joseph Parker is going to do? He's going to look at that. He's going to look at that fight over and over again when he got jabbed, when Dubois got jabbed to death, messed up his eye and everything like that. Parker is going to use that jab, and then he's going to see I guarantee that's going to be his strategy coming in.
Parker's got quick feet too, man. He's a good mover.
Fast. He's no chump, man. He's got power. He's no chump.
He's a good athlete, man.
Corey Lee, what's up, brother? No, unfortunately, we can't call in right now. Blog Talk's actually folding up in January, believe it or not. And they've been down the past few weeks, and we just canceled them because we
got to give Corey Lee a shout out, man. Yeah. He's been on the Usyk train for at least 5 years, man.
Right.
So I got to give.
He's for sure.
Usyk and Better Beef. Corey Lee has been talking about these guys before most people put them up there as being the best.
Yeah.
So I got to give a shout out to Corey Lee. That's my brother, man. My little brother. I always got to give him props, man.
Love Corey, man. King KO says Parker will frustrate Dubois. Dubois' ring IQ is suspect. Listen, I'm not going to argue with that. I think he's right. I think he's absolutely right.
I'm surprised Corey hasn't called me, man. He's got my number. He hasn't called me and rubbed it in my face. Here's the thing about me, man. I take it in stride, man. Like when you guys prove me wrong, I tell you, unload on me.
Well, listen, man, and you were doing it. You were doing it at the weigh-in too. You were doing it at the weigh-in too because you were like, "No, he has this." I said, "Look, man, I'm telling you, I've seen Andy Ruiz all over this weigh-in."
That's right.
And you did. And even with the fight and everything, even with the close rounds, you watched the fight. That's what I like.
You know what it's called?
I love about you.
Cope. I was coping.
You watch the fight and you judge it fair. You do. You judge it fair.
I'll tell you one thing. I love certain fighters, and Fury is one of those guys that I fell in love with over the years. But I'll tell you one thing.
Fury win yesterday.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. My credibility, right, as an analyst, right, and being the best scorer in boxing right now, being trained by Steve Weisfeld, I take pride in my scorecards. Number one, I take pride in my scorecards. Number one, and I take pride in being a great analyst. I can't come on here week after week and have my credibility questioned because I'm going to fanboy for fighters that I like. I owe you guys. I owe you guys a lot more than that. I take pride in my audience. I have to, give my audience a fair analysis, and I got to be objective, or you guys won't tune in anymore.
There you go.
You won't take me serious. You don't take me serious as it is, but I
don't really take you serious now.
I don't want you guys to even have look at me even worse than you do now.
Right. Robert, let me ask you a question. Let's go down to the undercard here for a minute.
Okay.
The Johnny Fisher David Allen fight. I didn't see it. Did you see the fight, or you saw highlights of it or something like that?
No, I saw the fight.
You saw the fight?
Yeah.
Guys, was this a robbery?
No.
You said it was 5-5. Yeah, because I didn't see it. But if it's 5-5, it's not a robbery, right?
Well, there was a knockdown. David Allen scored a knockdown over Johnny Fisher.
David Allen should have won because of the knockdown alone. He knocked him down in the 5th round. He was hurt from the 5th round until the 9th round. David Allen took over that fight. from round 1 to round 4, it was Fisher's fight, but 5 to 9, it was Allen's fight. The judges gave it to Fisher, but David Allen should have won that fight on the knockdown alone. And hopefully they rematch that fight because it deserved one.
I think they probably will. There was enough backlash from it, to run it back. A lot of people were irritated with it and everything like that.
True.
So yeah. So all right, let's talk about the undercard here. We had Sergey Borachuk versus Ishmael Davis. Borachuk wins by 6-round stoppage. Borachuk looked good. He was overmatched here, though. Davis was overmatched here. This was a showcase fight per se.
Well, Davis was the last minute substitution here. Remember, Borachuk was supposed to fight Israel Madrimov, and Madrimov got sick.
Yeah, Madrimov pulled out of that fight because Madrimov is fighting. Who is he fighting?
Ortiz. He's fighting Virgil Ortiz. I was telling Philly Drew was getting all mad. He's like, "Oh, why? I don't like the fact that Madrimov is going to be fighting Ortiz so quickly after Borachuk." And I said, "Bro, he's not. He's not going to fight Borachuk, bro." Nope. That I knew he was not going to go through with that.
Yeah, no, because it's a bigger payday. Ortiz, you're not going to put that on the line, and it's only a few months. It's a quick turnaround anyway.
That's correct.
So,
right.
Yeah, I like Borachuk too. I actually thought Borachuk beat Ortiz, but some people disagree with me on that.
The guy's a good fighter, man. He's a really good fighter.
He's solid, man.
The Tavern, that's perfect. Borachuk is a one-gear killer. There it is, man.
He's a great fighter, man.
Yeah, he really is, man.
Yeah.
Raphael says that the fight was a robbery between Fisher and Allen. So there you go. So Borachuk wins. Moses Ayatuma versus Dempsey McKean. This is my first time watching Moses Ayatuma. Okay.
Yeah.
Pete, did you see this fight? This was a one-round.
It was a great fight. That was very
demolition, man. And this guy is good, man. He puts a lot of people are comparing him to Mike Tyson. Some similarities you can draw. I mean, power, yeah. But the other thing is that he throws punches with intentions. It seems like every shot. It's not like he's trying to bait you in anything or anything like that. Every shot he throws is intent on hurting you. Every single one, from a jab on down, he wants to hurt you.
And the scary part about it is he's only 19 years old.
Yeah, that's the other thing, man. 19.
And Dempsey
19, son.
Dempsey McKean went 12. Almost, he got knocked out in the 12th round by Flip Hrgovic, and that was a guy that was, thought to have.
Yeah.
He's a big player. He's ranked #1 by the IBF. A lot of people, even myself, thought he was going to beat Daniel Dubois, even though I was rooting for Daniel Dubois. I didn't think Daniel Dubois was going to win that fight, but he surprised me in that fight. But Dempsey McKean is usually durable. He usually goes rounds, and they get blown out like the way he did against this young man. Very impressive.
Yeah. My guy, Bruce Gass, here we go. He says Moses got a little Tyson and a little Benitez in him. That's a perfect, that is.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nope. That is perfect, man. It really is. But I think he's got a lot of potential here. I'd like to see him matched. You know what I mean? I hope they take time with him. You know what I mean? Match him correctly, get him the experience he needs because he can be something. Don't try to rush him, man. Don't try to rush him.
Frank's pretty good about that, though. He knows how to build guys.
Yeah, Frank's pretty good. Yeah, him and Top Rank, they're both really good at matchmaking and stuff like that. Let's see here. What else do we got? I think that was it for the fights. I mean, I didn't really care. Overall, I didn't really care for the card. And I don't know who was producing that thing, but how many times did you watch Tyson Fury and just have him, where they go, he's in front of him or he's behind him or something like that, and you only see Tyson Fury punching. And it's like, come on, man. Like, change the angles once in a while. But I was watching, and from what I understand on the Sky feed, they had viewers. I think they had viewers or whatever judging the fight, and they had Fury winning. And I'm like, well, of course they did. It's Sky TV. You know, it's
so many people wanted Fury to win that fight.
Sure,
because the British pride or whatever. But again, fight. I think people were going overboard trying to like really sell this fight as being this is a razor club. I didn't see that. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. You know, and I know people wanted the fight to be a certain way, and it's almost like, you know, people feel the need to say a fight is close
Yeah.
because the guy they picked lost, and they want to try to like say, oh well, I was wrong, but it was still close. Like, so basically, I was only partially wrong. And they also, you know, helps people cope with the disappointment of their fighter losing by saying, hey, you know what? It was a close competitive fight. Like people have become really soft over the years. People just feel the need to have to get this consolation, right? They
Yeah.
just feel the need to have to, like, no one can deal with disappointment anymore. Everyone needs like a soft landing, a safe space,
A trophy, a
everyone gets a
participation trophy. Yeah.
When I used to play Little League, right? And I got like maybe one hit, but I struck out 2 times. My dad would say, "Oh, you didn't have a good game today." If I said to him, "Oh, well, at least I got 1 hit," I'd get a back hit. What do you mean you got 1 hit? You're supposed to get 3 hits. You were up 3 times. You get 3 hits.
3 for 3, son.
Right? You don't get a pat on the back. Then they would take the ice cream away from me. Like I wouldn't get dessert that night because I struck out twice.
I'll tell you this. Sprinkles are for closers, son. Remember that. All right.
No participation trophies here in the Beeb household growing up.
Charmin soft of the generation we live in. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. Philly Drew, thank you so much, my friend. 116, 112, Usyk, end of story. Yeah, that's everybody had it that way. The 3 judges, I mean, you know, and even when Bruce Gass, I love it, he said, Beeb got dessert. Yeah, I know, right? Like, nobody ever had dessert growing up. You know what I mean? Like, the good old days. That's right. That's right.
Mr. Beeb used to buy those little push-up ice cream things, put them in the freezer in the summertime.
The push-ups? You remember the orange push-ups? Oh, those were so good. Yeah, those were so good.
Orange sherbet?
Yeah, those were so good, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
What was it? Montero, I think Montero had to score the same way, 116, 112. But he also said today, I believe it was today, that he said that he thought Usyk had a better resume than Floyd, or a better
Well, here's the thing.
How did that go? You tell me.
I believe he said that Usyk's accomplishments were more impressive than Floyd's.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Again, you know, you have an argument either way. I just think Usyk did things that Floyd never did. Like Usyk won a gold medal. Floyd didn't. Usyk became undisputed not once but twice. Floyd never was undisputed. Floyd started picking and choosing the older he got, which is fine. Still doesn't take away the fact that he had a lot of good names on his resume. But Usyk is still fighting the best in his division. He's going to be 38 next month. So
but he's only got 23 fights.
Yeah, I understand that.
You know, and
being able to have the accolades that he has in such few fights.
Well, and let me tell you this. Undisputed twice, I could argue is a case of circumstance, nothing else. You know, you had the opportunity. Did Floyd have the opportunity?
Yeah,
I don't know. And even if he did, would anybody have argued that? I mean, listen, I love Terrence Crawford. You know I love Terrence Crawford. But people dump on him all the time for that first undisputed run. When he unified the belts, who did he unify him against? You know what I mean? That competition, I thought the competition was good, and I think he earned it. But again, you could say, if you're looking at records and all that other stuff, hey, it wasn't clear. And again, the same thing with Floyd. Floyd was what, 50-0? 49-0. Because I don't count the McGregor fight. Yeah. We shouldn't count his last fight either, but it is what it is. He fought who did he fight on his last fight? It wasn't McGregor, it was Andre Berto, which he had no business in the ring.
And he fought McGregor after that.
Yeah, he had no business in the ring with Berto. So he's 49-0, and that's the record he stands on, 49-0, right? So look, man, to go to the office 49 times and not have a bad night, and he had plenty of bad nights. He had plenty of bad nights, but he found a way to win
Yeah.
Out.
I thought he lost the first Castillo fight, but you got to go with the official.
But again, we got to go with the official. I thought he did too. I thought he lost that fight. I thought
Maidana fight. Some people thought he lost that fight. Some people had it a draw.
I thought he lost the De La Hoya fight, and I hate De La Hoya.
Yeah, some people thought the De La Hoya fight was real close too. So it was a split decision victory. So
yeah, so it's one of those things, man. It's just a judgment call. It's not.
No, you could argue Floyd on the sheer amount of fights.
Well, and two, let's not forget, man. Reese Mack hit it right on the head. Floyd faces some killers in his day, including a pre-prime Canelo he fought. But I mean, when he was coming up, he fought everybody, and he fought murderers.
But for me, I understand the argument you're making, and it's valid. Yeah. But for me personally, I just find it more impressive Usyk beating a guy who's highly skilled in Tyson Fury, giving up 40 pounds the first time, giving up 55 pounds the second time. This is a man among giants.
And that's an achievement. No question.
I can only tell you my opinion. I'm just more impressed by that. That doesn't mean that I'm not impressed with Floyd. Wow. I just find it more impressive that this guy is going to be 38 next month, and he is still fighting the best of the best. And I understand your argument with Undisputed.
Both guys are impressive.
I understand what your argument with Undisputed, but Kell Brook was out there when Floyd had those 3 belts. Yeah. He didn't want to fight Kell Brook. And Floyd could have fought anyone he wanted at that time.
Yeah.
Now, could Floyd have been Undisputed if he wanted to?
Yeah.
Sure. But he just never cared about it. And that's his preference. So,
and I mean, and like I said, man, Undisputed is, to me, Floyd could have been Undisputed at any point. I mean, he could have. He beat everybody.
You could argue he would have beaten Kell Brook.
He would have smashed Kell Brook. Yeah,
I would have picked him to beat Kell Brook at that time.
I would have liked to see the fight. I would have liked to see the fight for sure. But yeah, I mean, Usyk the GOAT says Usyk better than Floyd. Facts. There you go. Well, how are we going to argue with that? There you go. But yeah, man, it's kind of a judgment call. But yeah, the Undisputed thing, I like it and I like claiming. But listen, Hall of Famers. How many Hall of Famers has he beat? How many Hall of Famers has Floyd beat?
Floyd beat 5 Hall of Famers
so far.
Yeah, Usyk will. I think Fury and Joshua will be in the Hall of Fame, and Dubois is still young. Who knows what's left out there for him?
Uncrowned champion. Yeah. Uncrowned champion. That's the only if you think about it, that's the only unfinished business that Usyk has. It's unfinished. It is.
Because of the controversy?
Because of the controversy. He knocked you out. We saw the replay. That was not a borderline shot. That was a legal shot. You were done. He was done. The fact that he couldn't get up, it was a body shot, and he couldn't get back up, man. So now listen, Usyk's gonna have a game plan next time if they fight again. He's gonna have that game plan, trust me. So see what happens. All right, let's see. Let's take a look at the fights next week, which there isn't none. There should be, man. There should be that Wednesday fight or the New Year's fight or the the Christmas fight on in Japan.
Well, is that the New Year's Eve fight or
it used to be like it was I think it was on the 24th or something, or the Christmas Eve or the Christmas fight. Anyway, that got pushed back, so we got nothing. December 31st in Tokyo. So I mean.
This is the New Year's Eve fight right here, though. The Ioka Martinez fight.
Ioka Martinez, which isn't a bad fight. I guess that's going to be on ESPN, I would think. I would have to think it would be on ESPN, no? Japan is always notorious for giving us that end of the year fight. They're always great about that.
Plus. That'll be on ESPN Plus probably.
Yeah, probably. And we don't have anything again until January 8th. Queensland, Australia, Jai Opetaia versus David Nyeka for Opetaia's IBF cruiserweight title. He's another guy that I think we got to keep our eyes on as far as possibly moving up in weight. The other guy, where's he at? Jalalov. Where is he at? He's on a milk carton somewhere because he's got 2 gold medals. He shouldn't have been the second gold medal, to be honest with you.
You hate that, huh? I don't like that either.
I absolutely hate that either. As big as that guy is, as good as he is, listen, he should have concentrated on that pro career. There was no reason.
I don't like that rule they have where the pros can go back and fight in the Olympics. I don't like that.
And listen, it's a different sport. It is. It's a different sport. And I get it. It's a different sport, but you shouldn't be allowed to go back. You just shouldn't. It's just listen, man, it's not good because you go out there, right? And say you win. Well, Jabalov was like one of the only guys, right? He was one of the only guys that was favored to win a gold medal. All of them were like, plus because you don't know who's going to win. It's a big tournament. He was like plus 11,000 or something stupid. It was ridiculous numbers,
Yeah.
And like, so if you go in there and you lose, you're going to lose credibility there. You go in there and you win, you're going to lose credibility because who'd you beat up? A bunch of kids.
Yeah.
A bunch of up and comers. They're not even pros, dude. Like, what
do
you do?
You're in a lose-lose situation. But I guess a gold medal, I hate doing this, but is the gold medal as significant if you did it as a pro beating other amateurs? That's what you have to.
You're a pro beating on other amateurs.
I don't like to diminish other people's accomplishments, but that's a question mark.
It really is. It's not like listen, didn't Lomachenko win 2?
I think he won 2, yeah.
And was it Zhang who won? Not Zhang. Who was the guy from China?
Oh, Zhu
Nobody cares
Shiming.
about Clarissa Shields. Yeah, nobody cares about Clarissa Shields. She had like 5 people to fight. No, Zhu Shiming. You're right. Zhu Shiming won 3. Was it 3 gold medals or something stupid?
Yeah, he won a couple. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3. Yeah,
I mean, that's crazy, and that's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
But going pro, going 16, what was he, 16-0 as a pro, and then coming back to the stop.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Stop it. Come on.
I don't like that at all.
I mean, give me a break. Philly Drew, thank you so much, my friend. He said, will it hurt boxing with it not being on cable? No, absolutely not. No, I don't think so at all. I'll be honest with you. How many people are cutting the cord with cable and everything like that, with that whole thing going on? You have that the Fire Sticks and everything like that. You have all the apps. You have that Apple TV. You have all the apps on there and on the Fire Stick and on the Android TV and all that other stuff. No. I think most people now. Yeah, King KO said it right there. Cable is dead. Most people now are watching the apps. I can't even tell you the last time we watched. The only time we watch regular cable, and we only use it for the local channels, really, because there may be more of a delay on apps than there is on like regular TV, like the direct TV or whatever. So like when we watch football or live sporting events, I'd like to watch them, we'd like to watch them live. We don't like to get the updates and then see the score, that kind of thing. So yeah, man, that's my thoughts on it anyway. News and rumors here. Let's see here. Ex-UFC fighter Chris Lieben, Beeb. You remember him, right? Chris Lieben. He was on Tough. The first episode of Tough.
Yeah, I was
became a boxing referee just this week, man. And he was trained by Jack Reese and the rest of the California Commission and all that other good stuff. I thought it was great, man. I really was. I was like, because he knows what it's like to be in there. He knows what he's a combat guy. He knows what it's like to be in there and stuff like that. He knows what they're going through. I like that. I like that a lot, and now that his fighting days are over and everything like that, I think it's great, man, that he's a referee. And I think he'll be good. I think he'll be a real good one. And with Jack Reese retiring, I'm not saying he's going to be a top referee right now, but he's got that potential for sure. He's got that potential.
Crazy how Jack Reese is going to be a judge. If I had a choice, I'd rather be a judge too. I actually like scoring fights.
Yeah, I would too. I would much rather be a judge than a referee. Can you imagine how much nonsense you deal with as a referee?
Yeah,
from the corner. I mean, just being a ref in soccer, okay? Just in like kids soccer, like say soccer or teenage soccer, all the nonsense that you dealt with on the sideline from the coaches, just from the coaches alone, is enough to make me smack somebody. You know what I mean?
It's funny too.
Really was, man.
Because when you're reffing the fight, people can see your face. They know your name. When you're judging, the announcer will say who your name is before the fight, but no one really knows who you are. You do something wrong, like you can run out the back door. No one even notices. You're just
right.
Everyone knows who the referee is.
Right. Like I couldn't pick out Weisfeld in a crowded room. I couldn't pick him out. Adelaide Bird the same way. I couldn't pick her out. Jaime Munguia and Bruno Saras. Munguia has exercised his rematch clause. Good move.
I kind of figured he'd do that.
Yeah, I think it's a great move. No, he has to.
I think it's a great move. Let me ask you this, and I don't want to diminish Saras, but they fight 10 times. I mean, Munguia wins 9 out of 10 times, no?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Look, man, he got dominated. I mean, he wasn't dominated, but he got smashed in that fight. I mean, he was knocked out.
He was winning every round.
I think for Munguia, it's a good move. For Munguia,
Yeah, he's got to do it.
Move.
He's got to do it. But like I said, I think Munguia will probably stop him in the rematch.
He's got to win big in that rematch. Yeah. It can't be anything silly in that rematch like a decision. He's got to win big.
And maybe he needs to not go back to Mexico and do it. Maybe he needs to just do it like in the United States or something. So there's not.
Listen, man, I agree with Fight Doctor. I'm not so sure Munguia wins that rematch. Yeah, I'm with you, Beeb. If I have that fight, it's going to be in California.
California, right?
California, Texas, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Where you got the home crowd, but it's not,
not like distractions of being live like where you live in Mexico.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and let's see here. And somebody mentioned Jake Paul in the chat. Usyk the GOAT mentioned Jake Paul in the chat. There's some rumors going around that Conor McGregor is going to fight Logan Paul in a boxing match.
Wow.
I don't know. I guess it's a big thing. I don't know. I mean,
someone will watch it.
Someone will watch it. I mean, I don't even know that I'd go out of my way to watch it. You know, it's one of those things. It's like, I don't know. I'm not real interested in Logan Paul fighting anyway. I'm more interested in Jake Paul fighting.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
I was telling people
I'm interested.
I was telling people that Dylan Dennis in that Logan Paul fight was gonna pull some jiu-jitsu in there. People like, nah, people saying like, nah, he's not gonna do it. He's not. I knew he was gonna do that. Didn't I tell you he was gonna do that?
Yeah.
People were like, no, he's not gonna do it. He's not. And then he's trying to put a rear naked choke on Logan Paul with the fucking boxing gloves on. Like you can't cinch it. You can't grab with the boxing glove. How are you gonna fucking put those holds on? It was hilarious.
Gavin's Ghost, and let me tell you what, I agree 100% with that statement.
Yeah,
Rapey Connor being rewarded, and that's right. He's right. He's right. He just got convicted of that assault, man, and I think it's an assault. I don't know if it was rape or assault. I think it was sexual assault.
Yeah,
but from what it sounded a lot like rape. But whatever, man. Either way, you know, that's the thing. That's the thing about this sport and combat sports in general. Sports in general. Look at the NFL. I mean, there's a billion examples there. When you commit a crime, if you and I committed a crime in our jobs where we had to go to trial, we're done. We're out. We're out of the box. See you later. Right. X. How is it these guys can go ahead and just do whatever they want to people and everything like that, and then all of a sudden they get a big payday out of it? I don't get that, man. And I'll tell you what, I hope that fight tanks just on his sheer reputation, basically. You know, the fact that he went out there, assaulted that girl, got convicted of it and everything like that. You know how hard that is to prove? You know how hard it is to prove? Yeah. And you got convicted of it. Why should you get a payday out of that? That's you know? And she only got, what did she get? 230,000? She wasn't doing it for the money.
She didn't get a lot of money, no.
No. It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Clarissa Tercios says Conor McGregor is busy with a record label. He's dropping a new exhibit album this month on his label. Great. Ugh. Awful. Just awful. But, Beeb, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? We can't do much, man.
Yeah,
we can only talk about it. That's it, man.
I heard the evidence in that whole case is really awful from what people have said to me.
And the fact that if you go look at that case, read what was said, what he did, and what he was convicted of, it was awful. Just plain awful, man. It's hideous. Yeah. All right, guys, listen. That'll do it. Huh?
Yeah, Luke Thomas was he was talking about that. He does a lot of MMA commentary. And he just was like, I can't defend this. This looks really,
Nobody
really
can
bad.
Defend it. Nobody can defend
it. There's no
argument
I can make. There's no argument I can make for this guy. No. I haven't heard anyone really come out and defend it.
Horrible. Just horrible, man. Yeah. Really is. Raphael 32, go Lions. Hey, I hear it, man. Yeah, I'm a Detroit fan as well. So I'm hoping my Bengals are probably out of it, but hopefully Detroit can make a run at it, man. They've never had that, never been to the Super Bowl. 0-2 in NFC championships. I hope they can make a run this time, though. That'll be great. Christmas, Wednesday, right? Wednesday's Christmas, the 25th?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Wow, look how quick that came, Eric. Huh?
Right? I said, as soon as Thanksgiving hits, as soon as Halloween hits, it's over.
Yeah.
It's almost like the year is over, you know?
That's right.
It comes out so quick, man. That's right. Ricky Henderson passed, leadoff hitter. Yeah, the A's stolen base legend. Ricky Henderson passed away.
Wow.
Rey Mysterio Sr. passed away, not Rey Mysterio Jr., Rey Mysterio Sr. All right. So Rey Mysterio Jr. still around. All right, there you go. Good. How dare you? How dare you? Trash. We won today. And we won big too. I tell you what, we won big. All right, guys, listen, have a great Christmas. All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on X at jhabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. And you can find me on X at ringside73. Guys, have a great holiday. Be safe, and we will see you next week.